Stacy, I'm just going to call you out because you were coming off of this fresh lab code agent meeting. Let's start with you, like, because you kind of evolved your process. Time blocking, how do you put that all together? Like with all the systems that you have in place, do you have a set time that you work on StreetText on a daily basis? Do you give yourself a time block? What does it look like for you, or do you kind of just go for it?
I don't really time block too much more than funnel, because I'm a big funnel believer, just to save time. But I just wake up and handle the most important things, even if I have an escrow or things like that. But with StreetText, I'm kind of working on it all day long. So it's kind of my main focus. I'm really just hustling it all the time, making sure that the clients are in HomeBot, they're in KV Core, I'm checking names. I mean, that's happening every single day. And as soon as I get my important emails done, I'm kind of jumping on StreetText. And then my my partner that I'm working with, she sits there and works on StreetText for most of the day. And it's just about follow up. If I need to do a video CMA, that's kind of my agenda for the day, is just making sure that I have the follow up in place for StreetText. So I don't know that I have like for 2 hours a day here, I do it because I have so much going on. I'm training, I'm building funnels, I'm adding videos, I'm training for YouTube. There's so much I'm doing. It's just StreetText is just a big part of my day. So if you don't have 100 things going on like me, it would be the first thing I did every single morning to make sure that everybody's being taken care of for the day. So that's my advice.
Love it. What would be the one thing that you would recommend them look into? And this is coming from a perspective of, let's just say you're new, you're in trial, you're kind of evaluating StreetText in the program. What is a little bit of a recommendation you give to them if you were kind of looking back on it now on, kind of how to set yourself up for success?
It's almost like when you get a bunch of leads, if you don't already have a system in place, I think that's the first thing that you want to focus on. Because if I could go back 4.5 months when I first started, it was like within the first week, I got so many leads. Number one, I wish I didn't turn it off. I just would have let it keep going because I would have got caught up eventually, because there was times where I just shut it off. I was getting so many leads. And number two, I wouldn't have shut it off. Number one priority there is that I would have started a funnel right away. I think I was so overwhelmed with what do I do now that it was hard for me to focus. So I would just sit down, put a piece of paper in front of you and start coming up with a system that you want to work. That is the most important thing, because if you don't have a system in place, you're not touching them like they should be touched. So I think that that's the most important thing, is just sit down. I have whiteboards on the wall and I just started writing 1, 2, 3, 4. I moved things around. Then I ended up with a whole line of Monday through Friday whiteboards. And then I just wrote 1 day a week on each one. And it took me probably 3 weeks to really get a routine down. But I was really focused on it, because it's even though it took me a while, it's something that's going to save me so much time. So that time spent in that was so worth it, because now I don't have to be freaking out every day about all these leads that I have no system in place for.
So let's go in a little bit deeper there, because this is a great discussion. Explain the funnel, because you said everyone should just have a funnel. What is the funnel? And how has the funnel evolved from the time you got it with, the typical 9-month-long drip campaign that StreetText has into the funnel that you have now?
I think that's the cool thing about StreetText, is that you guys do have that funnel already in place. But I think that it has to be more personable. And I think that's what you guys are always pushing, is saying, hey, make it you. If it's not you, it kind of looks a little generic. And I think you can pull people in easier if you have a personal touch to it with the videos or your flair. I'm not going to win everybody over. They're going to like somebody who's more, a deep personality, or, somebody who's more from the heart or whatever. So I'm the person that's just like, I want to give you the facts. I want to give you useful information, and I want you to reach out to me if you want more. And so that's why I like the HomeBot factor, is, like I've said before, is those values aren't perfect and some of them are slightly off. So that gives them a reason to go, hey, wait a minute, that value doesn't look right, or hey, that looks a little too low. And so the more engagement, the better, even if it's somebody saying something mean that I might be able to turn around. I'm practicing mean comments and turning it into a positive statement. they're not scaring me away. So yeah, I forgot your original question already.
No, you're answering it, and we're just going a little bit deeper there. Where in the process are you incorporating HomeBot? Like, at what point do you discuss HomeBot and that you're going to get them in there, or do you just manually put their emails in there? How does that all work for you with the HomeBot?
Well, I think the first step is that we just make sure that we look at the property and public records, just to make sure that their name is all there, because a lot of times the name isn't there. And then we're just immediately putting them into HomeBot every day, every other day. They're just getting in there right away. That's part of our funnel, is to task ourselves the second they go into our database every day, that they go into HomeBot right away, because that's their Facebook evaluation request that they wanted. So I don't have to do anything. It's just that simple. I plug in, make sure I have their name. And if I don't have their email, I plug it under myself, under my email address, so that I can get something out to them in the mail. So HomeBot is a priority right now.
I love it. So are you setting the tone and letting them know that you're going to do that with the first email that's going out with your video, or are you waiting to let them know that you've sent them and put them into HomeBot afterwards?
The first email that goes out says that I'm going to be putting your Facebook evaluation request in the form of HomeBot. So that is their Facebook evaluation, and that is on its way. And that goes out the same day that I get the lead. That's the goal. Does it happen every single time? No, it's not perfect. I'm on showings or home inspections all day and I can't get to it. But yes, the goal is every day or every other day.
Ashley, go ahead and unmute yourself if you want to ask Stacy specifically a question. That'd be perfect. If you know how to use the.
Yeah.
Go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Stacy, I was just curious if you run your funnel and your follow-ups through what StreetText has and then personalize it through that, or do you just put the lead right into your own CRM and run it through that?
I'm using both StreetText and KV Core. And I'm using them to work together because there are benefits of my CRM system, and there are benefits of StreetText. StreetText, it's like you can see who's active in there on clicks and opening emails. In KV Core, I have them on other automations where I can track that through KV Core. So that was a big part of me trying so hard for 3 weeks to figure out, am I just going to use StreetText? Or am I just going to use KV Core? And then I was like, wait, I can use both of them because they both are adding value to my client. So yeah.
I just want to bring it back to what you originally said, where, you know, when your initial email telling them what you're going to do, I think that's really important. And all of you guys have probably slightly different styles of what you do and how you do it, because it's going to be dependent on personality, that sort of thing. But I like it when you can go, hey, here's what I'm going to be doing. Like, thank you for your request. This is what I'm going to be doing. And then when you actually follow up and follow through with that, it speaks volumes to that lead, because you're setting that expectation. And then when that expectation is set and you've actually, you know, met it, they now look at you like with that professional eye as somebody, this is somebody who's on it. This is somebody who like says that, you know, is true to their word there. And that goes a long way. I know that that resonates with a lot of people, because there's a lot of people out there that will say they're going to do something and then you wait for it and it never happens. And that's like, you know, that's a missed opportunity there.
So no, let's go in deeper. I love it. So what else are you doing initially in that first? So you got your auto email setting out. You're creating expectations around the HomeBot. What else are you personally doing? Are you waiting to start a personal email with the BombBomb video if they reply or if they start something, or if they don't reply, do you just let the funnel keep going? That'd be the question I have for you, Stacy. And then where is your Facebook group come in? Where is your Facebook message perhaps going? Where does that friend request come in? What else are you doing within that process on top of the HomeBot?
Yeah, I wish I pulled my funnel up in front of me. I might have it here. Let me just open it because I don't have to think too much about it anymore. It's all automated.
Love it.
So StreetText funnel. So I have it on a Word document that I kind of look at as well. So if I need to tweak something, I'll change it on there. So the second that they go into KV Core. I put it in KV Core. I use the tool map. So what I do in KV Core is I'm adding them to their neighborhood location, and I'm setting them up on neighborhood drips. So in one of the emails as well, or videos, I'm saying, hey, I'm also, just so you know, adding you, oh, it's my HomeBot video. I'm saying, oh, hey, I'm also putting you on neighborhood drips so you can keep an eye on properties in your neighborhood. I don't know about your market, but here, summertime and spring rocks. So I'm like, hey, check your activity. And when you start to see those listings popping up more and more, you can decide if you want to go ahead and give me a call about springtime or summer. As far as HomeBot's concerned, HomeBot, Facebook friending, and friend them, Facebook, and HomeBot is all happening in the same day. Well, actually, no, I moved it out because what was happening is I felt like I was spamming them all at once. So I did push out the Facebook friend request and the neighborhood drip to day 2. Because what was happening is StreetText goes out, that's the initial video, and then we're adding them to KV Core, and then their neighborhood drip and HomeBot happens first. Their neighborhood drip happens in 2 days, and then market report happens in 2 days. Because what I realized is I was getting a certain unsubscribe happening kind of fast. So I was like, okay, why are people unsubscribing so quickly? Well, they're getting StreetText, they're getting KV Core, they're getting neighborhood drips all in the one day. So I was just paying attention to what was happening. So now I'm getting a lot less unsubscribe rate. So I'm just paying attention to every single thing that happens. So now I'm not getting any more unsubscribes. So that solved that problem. And I will say that I'm getting more unsubscribes to KV Core, my CRM, than I am HomeBot. People are not unsubscribing to HomeBot. So that's why I think it's so awesome. And then all of a sudden, when somebody goes to validate their value, or they actually respond on HomeBot, I'm able to reach out to them and go, hey, I noticed you unsubscribed over here, and I was letting you know about your neighborhood. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, please put me back on. So it's just another outlet for me to communicate. So I've actually been turning some of the unsubscribes back on from KV Core. So HomeBot's actually helping me.
It's really helpful. So what about, okay, so I love it because you have day 1, the HomeBot description of what you're going to do. Day 2, the friend request and neighborhood drip. And then day 3, there's a natural email that goes out with StreetText. Are you letting that go and keep on running within the StreetText automation? Or have you turned that off? Have you personalized it? Because I think day 3 was checking in to make sure you got your home value type of email if you leave it on default.
Next time I'm gonna bring up all my funnels so I can talk about it a little bit easier, because it's so automated now. I've pushed that out of my brain so I can focus on other things. Because as you know, like, your focus is, you can only focus on so many things at one time. So I've like, funnel done, now track what needs to be changed, and funnel is out of my brain. So I kind of moved that one out. But yes, I have a HomeBot explanation video that goes out I think it's 2 hours later after I send them HomeBot. The explanation video shoots out. And then that way they at least have like a little overview, instead of just being like, because I know when I first saw HomeBot, I saw the value in it, but somebody else might be like, what's this? What does this mean? And so that video, I think, really helps them kind of look at it and go, oh, I see what this is. Stacy just explained it.
Is that automated? So you said it goes out automatically 2 hours later. How did you set that to go out 2 hours later?
I have that ability, in the funnel, just like on StreetText, you can mark when it goes out. So that's why it's really important that, I have to bring up my KV Core system. It might be going out the next day, because then it would give me a day to, I mastermind it, and then it's not top of mind.
No, I love it. No, I mean, I think this is just getting people thinking about what's even possible when you start going in there and creating your own custom automations. And so I think that's a big part of what's, like, a conversation that should be had. And, eventually we'll piggyback off what you're doing, and hopefully people can actually create the same type of follow-up system for themselves.
And I think
I'm going to
that's
start
awesome.
having it up when we talk.
Cool.
In terms of time blocking, I mean, I love that you're saying that it became automated, that you don't even know what's happening anymore because you've set it and you forget it. So like, what does 2020 look like when you take some time in the next 30 days to set some things up that you can forget about. So now you can focus on other things. And now you're just working on, okay, what is the next blocks of things I'm going to automate? And that's like, you know, we can get stuck in this business, working in our business so much that we never work on it. So time blocking is like, how do you step back from, like, do you have time in your schedule each week to actually put the background stuff in place so that it seems like it's not profit producing right away because it seems so mundane? But I mean, that's the key to the phrase that you're saying, is that you're like, I have to pull it up to see what I did because I'm not even sure what I did, but I know I spent time on it. I know it's in place and I know it's working because I'm having the metrics showing it to me. And if it pops up again as a problem, then you can block it in. Like, do you have a time set in your week where you're looking at that? You're hardcore. You're like, I just do it all the time, all day and every day. But time blocking, I mean, you've just shown the efforts of doing those little mundane things, is that you can now set it, forget it. That's awesome.
And I think the purpose of time blocking is to create habits. So in our industry, a lot of people, they sit there and stare at the computer, they'll check their Facebook, they don't really know what to do with their time. And I think when you start doing things to set automations in place and you start working your business like you should, in that 10% that are working their business, you stop worrying about, well, I do anyways, my time block. I'm like, it's on my mind 24/7. I can't even, if I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm like, oh, I got to do this, you know, it's a problem. So, but I'm trying to work towards something bigger. So I think time blocking is a good thing to start. And I tell people that, you know, block an hour a day to do Instagram, block an hour a day to do Facebook, like to create habits for yourself. And I think once you get those habits, maybe you don't time block anymore. I don't know. It depends on what kind of person you are.
Great. Colin, what's up, my friend? Can you hear us?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good, man. I mean, you've been at it for a little bit now, and you've got a little bit of success at StreetText. What kind of was your, you know, initial process coming in, and did you have a set time block on kind of figuring out how it was going to work for yourself, and what has that kind of evolved into for you with StreetText?
Oh, yeah. So it's so this morning, right after this, I have to follow up. Yeah, I'm all right with time blocking. I've trained more people and taught more time blocking than I actually do, and I'm very well aware of my weaknesses on that. But I'll tell you what, when I do certain things, like as far as like creating a video, or like what Stacy says, like I'm trying to work on building some automated funnels. If I'm doing something like that, I will turn off my email and like shut that down and make sure I don't have, and I also don't have notifications on the little things that pop up, because all that does is time suck you from whatever you're doing in that moment right now. And I'm a guy that will like automatically click on the bright, shiny object.
Yep.
And so for me, a 20-minute or 30-minute funnel automation where I'm working on building something online will turn into 1 hour, because that dedicated time is totally taken away into like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes, 15, this window's open, let me do that. Like, I need to have one window open and do that. And I have to, and then I will turn the email on, because there's nothing that urgent that's going to happen in 30 or 45 minutes or an hour that can't wait, right?
Makes complete sense.
We think there is, because we live in a world of immediacy right now, but it's really not.
So going back to when you first started with StreetText to what you know now, what's kind of the piece of advice you give yourself on looking back now?
Yeah, man, I just actually launched a new buyer ad last night, and I got 2 leads. I'm already talking to one of them right now. He's just browsing but curious, wants to see more. So I sent him bomb right away on the phone. I just did what you guys told me to do, and it's like not hard, but it requires a I did bomb personalized videos for every single lead that comes in. Like I said, like 150 a month on them. Like literally personalized bomb videos. And I think I told you, I make it look like I'm super busy when I send them out. Were we talking about that?
You should put an example in the insider group just so we can see it.
So I do a lot of them from my car, and I will literally put on a dress shirt. And I live in Southern California, so like whatever I'm doing, whether it's Saturday morning or something or Sunday afternoon, it comes in, I will put on my dress shirt. I will still be wearing shorts. I'll back my car out of the garage so it doesn't look like I'm sitting in a garage, and have my dry erase board, and I write the name on it and be like, hey, Marcus, hey, it's Colin with Green Home Real Estate. Hey, so glad you clicked on our ad for Facebook. I just want to get this out to you real quick. I'm on my way to a listing appointment, kind of a crazy hectic day, but I know how important your time is, and you took the time to ask us some questions. So just want to introduce myself, put a name to a face, and I'll try and follow up with you later. But anyway, Marcus, hope you have a great day, and I'll try and check in with you after this next appointment, you know? And I could be watching football, dude, but like they see me as valuable, time, busy. They want whatever that is. They don't know what that is yet. Like that's the psychology of sales, but they want that, right? They want to be included.
That's one of those things that's so obvious too, that people don't want that agent that's not busy, because you're not busy for a reason, but you're busy, but you're still not too busy for them. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm going to find time for you because you're more important than anything else I could possibly be doing right now. Right? That's awesome. I think that alone it's genius. And I think once again, I mean, if you're always shooting the same videos from your office, even though that one lead isn't going to see your 50 other videos, still, you know, you're sitting in your office. I think the fact that you're on the go, you're in your car, even though you're really not, I think that's phenomenal. It's a great idea. And once again, it's personalized approach wins the day every single time, because automations largely are to get, you know, the ice broken, so to speak. That's to get speed to lead, get that done. But then the content of your next messages needs to be personal. And I think you know.
Right on, man. The only other advice I would give to new people, and I've kind of spread this, is like, don't get frustrated, because with Facebook leads and the way StreetText is set up, like you will get leads in the first 24 hours. Like it's almost guaranteed. And you will get more in the next 48 hours, in the next 72 hours. And if you've got something that's working, there will be like 3 to 5 leads a day. And it's exciting, and you're sending videos, and you might not see that response, but they will come back. I just had a guy call me like 2 weeks ago, and he was, I think, September, whatever, something, mid-September, right when I started. And he's like, hey, I've been getting all your emails. Will you come talk to me about, I just need to sell my house, and let's get this going. And I've never talked to him, but he's opened up all my stuff. And he's seen my bomb, and that's it. But like, I just did all the work was being done, but like, they're in there, right?
They're in there. So did you automate, or did you personalize the automation in the sense of that first email that goes out, videos embedded in there, email signature, maybe a call to action you're asking?
My first email's got me with a dry erase board, and it says Facebook inquiry on it. I'm in my car because I'm a busy guy, Marcus.
Yep.
So like they get that email with the bomb, and then I've personalized and just tweaked a few things on every one of the emails. Basically, like I included a thing on our iBuyer program, because we have a great iBuyer program, and it just says like breaking news, ask us how you can get cash for your home in as little as 72 days, like nothing more, but it's just a conversation point, right?
Yeah. So you're going in there a little bit within the context of that, like, let's just say on the seller side with StreetText on that 9-month-long drip campaign. Are you going in there and personalizing every one of those somehow, some way? Or
I've tweaked every one of them. Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. I haven't reinvented the wheel on a lot of it, but I've just definitely put some other stuff in there.
And do you use Zapier or email parse it into any other CRM do you have, or you just let the StreetText system work?
Yeah, and it's like, so I work, Stacy is my mentor, and the one that kind of brought me over to this company. Like I work with KV Core too, and I want to talk to her more about that, because I feel like I feel like the KV Core drip campaign is a little bit more intrusive than StreetText, I would say. I feel like, I'm not sure. I think I need to tweak mine, but yes, it does. And I'll turn it on and off, but it zaps over.
Yeah.
And then I also include them in HomeBot. I'm a HomeBot guy too. People like that.
Love it. And so what about with the Julie component, the assistant? Do you use that much and personalize, ask questions, role play a little bit with that?
Oh yeah. I don't use it. I use it a little bit. I used to probably use it more. I need to get back into using it, but I just set one up yesterday for the buyer campaign. So I think so. Yeah, Julie's great. She asks, because then I can respond back with Julie and say that Colin is excited to talk and he's going to call you back. And then I sit there and I go, hey, hey, Julie, just told me.
I always give it 10 minutes. That was kind of my thing as well. As I always told, I had my assistant tell everybody I'd be calling them back within the hour. That was what I always did. But this is long before automations were really even a thing. But now that you have Julie, it's exactly the same thing. Logan's going to call you back within the hour. Here's the number he's going to call you from. I wait almost exactly 9 to 10 minutes. And I call them right there. They're expecting an hour. After 10 minutes, after 5 minutes, they probably look at their phone once. After 10 minutes, they look at their phone again to see if they've missed that call. And then I call right there, and that same phone number I told them I was going to be calling them from, right, shows up on their call display. They answer it 9 out of 10 times, I find. So if you wait too long, obviously, after you said you're going to call, if you say it's an hour and you call in 50 minutes, I think you're more likely to miss them. I think that 10-minute mark is almost perfect. Once again, you're in your car, right? You're so busy that you're not sitting in your office, but you're not too busy for them. So that 10 minutes.
And that's normal time that someone would call you and tell you to get a hold of this person because they called and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And it's all about the illusion of, it's the illusion of bigger than because I have a company or a team name that I started, but it's literally just me, Green Home Real Estate. But every word I always use is we, team, us, etc. So it seems like it's a big thing they're talking to, unless you're some guy sitting in his car,
With the dress shirt and shorts on.
Dress shirt and shorts with board shorts on the bottom. Yeah, what's up?
I'm moving.
I had a question regarding HomeBot. I have another client who is just getting new to HomeBot. Probably you guys saw the post in the insider group. He was a little concerned with the personal information being sent to somebody who it doesn't belong to. And I know that a lot of that information is available to us as realtors, but to the general public, a lot of that information isn't always as readily available. And I'm just wondering, I mean, for me, my suggestion to him was to kind of preface it to a point of explaining to people in a bomb video, here's this cool service you're going to get access to. However, in order to gain access, I need to, validate who you are. I want to make sure that you are the person this information belongs to. Has anybody who's using HomeBot had any pushback, any issues, any qualms whatsoever sending information before that individual has been validated? Any issues at all with that, or?
No, that's all public information HomeBot pulls. They don't have direct access to the MLS, so that's off tax data records and stuff like that. So that's nothing that anybody couldn't go online and find.
I guess it's a little bit more difficult for us here in Canada. We don't have the same access to information. We can't just pull title that same way. There's a lot, the information is considerably more limited to us here on the side of the world, so to speak. So that's probably one of the only hurdles, but I guess for you guys, you haven't seen any issues, nothing whatsoever. Okay, good.
Cool. Leon, what's your process like? I know it's evolved a lot into over time, but what do you got going out with your automations, and what are you doing personally within those first few touches?
Right. Much love to Stacy. The HomeBot video installation you make, that I'm putting that out this week, and it's really nice because when people get it and go, what the, so I'm changing my day 1 or day 2. We'll be letting them know something goes out. So I'm addressing this to the new folks. Everybody says they're overwhelmed and stuff like that. Sometimes they turn the system off, and that's telling me you don't have a system. When I first started in 2017 versus now, a lot of difference in StreetText. What I like about now, as far as in there, I run the 9-month campaign out of StreetText because I always say set it and forget it. And I don't have time to do a 30-day because 30 days is just here and gone that quick. So by running the 9-month campaign, the only thing that I do a little different, I decided I use Julie because they talk to Julie quicker than they'll talk to a guy, believe me. So what I do is once I turn around and they respond to a text, I do set up a text campaign that I have in Lion Desk to go out so that they're touched with text as well, because they're going to respond to a text quicker than email. But for those that are being overwhelmed, what you have to remember is when they first come in, you get the notification, that's like, okay, kind of pay attention, something's coming. Until I get submission 2, I'm not really worried. I'm letting the system run itself. I'm going to put the HomeBot video in to go out to let them know what's coming, and that one will get set up. I don't time block 10 to 12 or any of that because leads don't work at the times that you want them to. They come in when they come in. So the priority with me is if someone comes in right now, immediately this and that, reach out to them, see what, where they're at with that. If they're just partially in there, it's like, okay, future money in the bank, let it come. You always talk about the lowest hanging fruit in the tree, Marcus. So the priority for the new folks, go after the ones that have thrown all their information out there, numbers, email, phone, all the descriptions of what they've done. That's kind of a warm to hot lead. Hit it. The other ones, you can kind of start stuff going. So my priority is most information, the least. I've got automation running with Julie already, so they're getting a touch. Sit down, and during the day when I have time, I try to block out 2 hours several times a week. I don't say I try, I am doing it, to where I go through the system top to bottom. I start at the beginning. In the old days with files, I'd have a file on top of stacked, and I'd go from a file down, down, down all the way through. So just, I start from, believe it or not, oldest to newest when I'm going through stuff, because you need to get the guys instead of letting them slip away. And then once I turn around and I've got the automation going, I've got them in the home bot, I've got all the stuff going. The personalization thing about the bomb, if somebody had something or made a comment, this and that, shoot a bomb video out to them, just touch them base as far as for the personal touch, let them know you're there. And then on what I call the quiet days, when you have a minute, if you're gonna do a mail out, I've got postcards that I've had going out now that I'll just get postcards to go out to those folks. And I call that snail mail and trickle, because it might take a minute to get back to you. But I would just say, when I hear people say they're being overwhelmed, I just have to question what it is. And I mean, don't get me wrong, if we got 80 leads in a week, yeah, that's a lot, but you need to prioritize who's giving you all the information to reach out, and just break it down into categories and just go after them from that. And once I get the, I'm coming up, I don't know, I got a couple that when I hit the end of the 9 months, I'll move them over to my Lion Desk long-term drip. They go on a year-long campaign, and it's still automated. And then if they do something, I get notified on my phone with my apps, and I can still respond to them no matter where I'm at. So I was laughing, but I love the part of being in the car. I have a shirt, always polo or something I'm gonna put on when it comes time to be live, be official. I'm gonna be professional, because you only get a chance to make that first time good impression. So to sit there and have the music blasting and wind noise and hollering at kids or the dog or whatever, that just, that they know you have a life, but they want you there for them. So I gear up for the client.
Love it.
I like the prioritization there, because that's one thing that's important. We get a number of people that come in and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. You've got a ton of leads coming in, but how many of them are just address onlys? And people are panicking. Like, I gotta get this mail out. I gotta get the mail out. I'm like, put those aside for the moment, get to the people that have left an email quickly, then time block some time to follow up with those people that are those address only. So whether it's going to be, whether you're going to do a mailer or you're going to do, your door knocking, then set some time for that, go through those systematically, get it off your mind. I think that's a big thing there with a lot of people. So you don't have to be overwhelmed. I think you choose to be overwhelmed.
Yeah. I always say, pause the ad initially and spend a little bit of time, maybe spend a few hours on what you want that automated email to look like. So this way you can define your own process. And this way you can also go in there and then say, okay, this is my auto email out. What's my personal follow-up going to be like moving forward? What's my day 3 going to look like moving forward? You got to look at the bigger picture, like you guys were doing automatically, because then when you turn it back on, your process set in place. The problem I see a lot of people with trial is that they get overwhelmed because they have no process at the moment. And so they're just trying to figure out, well, what do I do? What do I do? Pause the ad, work on the process, and then we can turn it back on. That's the best recommendation I can give them, and personalize that process. Another thing I want to ask you guys, Leon and Stacy and Colin are here. And Stacy, I kind of challenged you to it, is we always talk about the speed to experience of you with that automation and that video embedded there. What about the idea of that first email? Obviously, it is acknowledging the Facebook inquiry, like you said, Colin, but what about shooting for some sort of, you always say, Leon, yes or no type of question that could be answered. This way, from the very beginning, you're initiating a conversation, and your true measurement is how well is that automated piece giving me some sort of dialogue start, right?
Well, when you take the other thing is, like Stacy, where she's at, her Facebook stuff is really good. I go in and I'm a little more where I'm not worried about them knowing my personal side of my Facebook. They say speed to relationship. Now it says speed to lead and something when it comes to Facebook. So what I do is I have what I call a social media blockout time. I work my LinkedIn, I work my Facebook. I go in and I'm asking these guys to like my page, because that's where they came through in the first place. That's a very neutral, safe kind of spot. And then if something goes on that, if they want to get curious and they want to hunt you down and make the request for the friend request, then I get that. But as far as just, you know, sitting down, getting these guys engaged, I can turn around when I'm sitting there and ask these guys, hey, just following up with you, making sure you got the information I sent you the other day. If I got phone numbers, I'm texting to those folks. That's the yes, no. And then when they reply back, that's also your way of checking to make sure it's a good phone number. So it's kind of a check. And if it isn't, as George gave us, I use the truepeoplesearch.com. I use thatsim.com. I use the sites to go ahead and see what's there. And for some of you guys on the email thing, I kind of laugh, but if we're going to look somebody up, everybody's got probably 10 email addresses. They've got a junk garbage email address. A lot of times I find some people, that's what they use when they sign up for stuff, because they don't want to be bothered and hassled, and I get it. But you can go into like truepeoplesearch.com. I'll go in there when I find them. I'll see if I see a Gmail address registered to them and their names on it, pretty much know it's them. So when I send out an email, I'm going to send out an email to all those. It's like, it doesn't hurt. It takes you but a minute to add a couple more. If it kicks back, fine. If someone says, hey, wrong one, don't use it again. But I have found that I've actually got engagement back from folks with the email address I found versus the one they put down, because they were just online checking and they didn't want to have, 50 people doing this. Because you have to remember, you're not the only person they're seeing. When they're online, these guys are, Logan, you said 10 minutes, 5 is what they say is ideal. But in a couple of minutes, they left your page. 10 minutes later, they're somewhere else. So if you come in there within 10 minutes, you're trying to pull them back over to you. In 5 minutes, they still might be there. So in that time frame, working to get them, you're going after them as quick as you can. So I just, all the emails, everything, send it. It's time well spent.
That's great. TruePeopleSearch.com was what you talked about, right? So for people, take that note down. True People Search, and then you also use, I believe you said a Chrome extension. That's a LinkedIn Chrome extension as well.
Yeah. So LinkedIn Navigator. I'm the king of free 99. So George gave us the TruePeopleSearch.com. That's them.com. The LinkedIn Navigator goes ahead, and what I do is, so you can come into your Gmail, type in the person's email address, and it will pop up their LinkedIn profile if they have one. And then using that, going in there, right now, I don't use the free LinkedIn. I pay for the professional version because it lets you do a few more features when you're looking for people. But even, sticking with the free part of it, it'll pull them up. And I've reached out to people and got them actually on LinkedIn and pulled them across. And it's kind of nice for you because you understand, what type of business they're in or what they do. So, it just, when you take that minute to use the tools, they're free, use them. You can find almost anybody.
I've seen you, Stacy and Leon, use the BombBomb screen recording tool a couple times and start with a visual of the person's home. Where does that come in for you guys? At what point and what type of lead would you use something like that with?
You want to go first, Stacy? Okay, I will. I actually thank you to Kenneth for that. I don't send a mini thriller movie anymore. I go in, I'll pull up the house in MLS. I use Bing as a search because what I like in Bing is when I put the home address in, it'll usually pull up 3 or 4 of the major search ones, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, and Homes.com. I make sure now that I have the picture of their house up so that right off the bat when they look, they go, whoa, that's my house. I want to get that attention. And so I basically will say something like, hey, John, it's Leon for the Premier Houses team. Want to thank you guys for coming through my Facebook page and asking for a home valuation. I go, as you can see, and I love it when something's wrong. I had one I sent out last week with a blank black screen. And I go, as you can see, sometimes Zillow doesn't, Google doesn't get it right. So if you would, please hit reply and say yes or no. Let me know this is, in fact, the correct home. I believe it is because I've done other research and I've found something. And then if you would also take a minute, let me know if you had any recent updates, upgrades, remodels that you feel significantly contribute to the value of your home. And then I'll go ahead and I'll be pulling up screens while I'm talking so they see the home. And I don't really give them a number because I'll say, as you can see, values differ all over the internet. So I'd like to be able to give you a little more accurate assessment. Once again, I want to thank you guys for stopping through my Facebook page, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Have a great day. 30 to 45 seconds tops, under a minute if it just gets it through.
Hey, Marcus, Why are we frozen?
Got to pay that cable bill, bud.
Yeah. All right. Marcus, you there?
They'll be back. Yeah, I think they had. There's got to be something working on your end though. We're still connected.
There
It's
you
still
go.
good.
I think we're back. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's pretty cold here. I don't know if that has something to do with it. I know actually, further north, 3 hours north from where we are now, is -41 today. That's Celsius, which I believe is the same Fahrenheit, though. It's -40 Fahrenheit, I believe. Is
You guys know you
is
can keep that, right?
Yeah, yeah. You know, we're trying to send it over that way as best we can. We're all out our doors trying to blow it over. It's cold. It's only -16, 17 here where we are, so it's not too bad. But I'm not sure that's like
zero.
Yeah, just above 0 Fahrenheit, I believe.
Hey, Marcus.
Yes, sir.
I do the same thing as, you know, obviously as Leon and Stacy that Kenneth taught us, where we do the screen recording of the valuation. But in my subject line, I put home valuation dash, and then I put like the lower end of their value range in the subject line with like 2 to 3 question marks. So I'll put like home valuation 780 question mark, question mark, question mark, and they'll be like 780, like what? What do you mean 780? My house is worth way more. Like they will open that email, be like, what? No way. And in that email, I will say, I will show the range just like Leon's saying, and I keep it like 45 seconds, but I'll say, hey, this is the range down here. I know we can do better than this, but I just want to let you know what the internet sees. And it's not what I see, but this, you know, we need to fix this. But it grabs their attention because they want that lower thing in there. And they want to know why I said that.
I was going to ask a question of the group here, or maybe more of a request. And we try this all the time. Is there any way that everybody could put in your, whether, you know, it doesn't even have to be your best, but put in your bomb video, put in that screen record video that does kind of the interactive CMA or the virtual CMA, put in a couple of those videos into the insider group, and then we can kind of look and see. And I think it's going to help you guys as well, because you probably have something that's working well for you already, but being able to see exactly what somebody else is doing is going to give you that other idea. Oh, that's a nice little thing to add. You know, maybe mine's a little bit too long, too short, whatever, missing a certain piece. But not only will it help you guys yourselves, but it'll obviously help everybody here as well. And I think that the more people that start seeing that and start doing it, once again, they'll start posting their videos as well. And I think as a group, we all just learn and get better. So if anybody would like to share, obviously we would request that, and then constructive criticism and feedback. I think it could help everybody.
Yeah, I'd love to see that too. I'd love you guys to document out, similar to what you're doing, Stacy, with a Word document, is to document out what you created from the moment the lead comes in till your personal reply and then the automations that follow. Because eventually people are going to be looking to saying, how can I build that same thing? And I know you have that group right now that you have on Facebook, Stacy, but for you, Colin, for you, Leon, if you just kind of document that yourself, and then we can ask, you know, what kind of success are you seeing there? When typically, because you know, typically it's 6 to 12 touches before you even get a reply. What is that typically when you get a reply, or is that just on the average of the industry is? What does your actual replies look like on average? Like, do you measure that, or do you just let your funnels do their thing? And that's something that I get asked often at times, is like, well, what can I expect in terms of conversion of these leads? I'm like, that is so subjective. That is so subjective. Like, we can only take you so far. Everybody's going to have a unique follow-up, but the one takeaway I can give them is make it yours. Brand yourself. Utilize video, or else it's just going to be getting lucky. Really, you're going to get lucky if you get anyone replies to any generic HTML-based email, especially the way the system is. So when I get people in trial, they're like, well, you know, I'm getting all these leads, but no one's replying to me. I'm like, would you reply to that email? Probably not at this moment. Right? You wouldn't. You wouldn't, because you don't know who that person is. There's no face there. There's no personality there. There's no trust in that moment. So I think that's a big takeaway for everybody, is make it your own, and customize that. Is that what you guys would tell these people starting out? Just make sure you're personalizing these autoresponders as well as the personal follow-up? Just a question.
The other thing I've been doing is when I send something out, I emphasize the point that they're getting it directly from me, that they don't have to worry about getting 50 other agents or lenders calling them from Zillow, Realtor.com, or Trulia, bothering them. And so driving that fear away also helps, because this is what makes people very hesitant to give their information out in the first place. Is like, oh my God, I don't want to put this in there. I'm going to have everybody in the world calling me. So, and most people have had that bad experience already. So I just assure them that this is directly from my site and our team. They won't get nothing from anyone else. And unless they make a request, they're not going to be bothered.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, in regards to the email structure that we have, obviously, I don't want to bash it too much because we wrote everything in there. There's nothing bad about those emails whatsoever. But once again, and I tell this to all my clients as well, there's nothing great about them either, right? It's very generic. And if you do nothing else, at least there's something being delivered to your clients, and that's fine. But fine isn't what we're striving for. Right? We're striving for greatness, right? And that's the only way for it to be great isn't to have somebody else write it for you. It needs to come from you, and it needs to include video. It needs to be personalized. And the way I try to explain this to everybody is that 9-month email drip campaign, I look at them as envelopes waiting to be stuffed. The mechanism is in place. You're going to get day 1, day 3, 7. They're being delivered at an appropriate schedule, in my opinion. But the content of that messaging, it can't be generic. It can't be default. It has to be you in order for this to be truly successful, in my opinion. So once again, for anybody who hasn't customized your email drip campaign already, take the advice from the people who are clearly winning already, right? And make sure you customize them and look at them as envelopes that just need to be stuffed with your information.
Yeah, and to that, yeah, go ahead.
Come across with energy. Don't, if you got to stand, I'm getting a stand-up desk for one of my desks just because, I mean, you got to get animated. You got to let them know you got love for what you do. You don't want to put them to sleep in the 35, 40 seconds you're trying to deliver something.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually standing right now.
Yes.
But I was just going to mention too, like with that email, and even any of those emails in that drip campaign, what we notice is that first email has a really good open rate. Typically on average, we're seeing like 60%. What I also see is for those that don't edit and personalize that email, the subsequent email open rates just tank. Like they really tank. When it's personalized, the next ones are there. So imagine like you've got this first one that's said, hey, I've got your evaluation, I'm on it. And then, you don't edit it, you don't make it personal, you don't do. So then when you send an evaluation out, they're not even opening that. They're like, well, I just didn't see any value in the first one. I'm not going to open it. So now the likelihood of them actually even remotely getting back to you is going to just drop to an all-time low. So we want to bring those up as much as possible. If you can hit if you got 60% open rate and then on the next one you got another 60%, well, you're actually holding their attention, which is amazing.
And there's best practices too with how you send out those videos, right? Remember what in that mastermind we did with Shane from BombBomb, he was kind of laying out a little bit of text context in the front end of the video, a little bit on the bottom with the call to action. Because if you don't, it'll just collapse in the email if you just put a video in by itself. So never just send a video by itself, right? Because you got to acknowledge a lot of these guys won't be able to actually watch it in that moment, but they'll recognize and see you. So if you have some context of what they're going to see, as well as something on the bottom that asks a question with it, you're more likely to get a response to it, as well as obviously a great subject line and, pulling in a little emojis and so forth. That subject line that goes out automatically with the new automations for the email on the seller side is pretty clever because it has a little emoji and it's pulling in their subject line. So they're more likely to respond to that if you make it a priority to make it personal.
The other thing too with those videos is I know a lot of people get hung up. They're like, oh my gosh, nobody's playing my video. I'm like, that's totally fine. As long as it, captures their attention. So make sure that you've also got information written into the email so that if they don't watch the video, at least they get the information they need. That's all that matters, is they get the information.
And you do have, I think if you're using something like BombBomb, you can create a canned or snippet response that you can personally send out as well from the extension, and then measure the success of it based on your ability to track it, right? Because with the Chrome extension tracking on BombBomb, it'll show you when it's being opened, it'll show you when it's being played, and it'll also show you if there's any links from within that email that are being clicked on. So that's a really good tool to analyze to see how successful that particular email that you're sending out consistently is getting responded to.
If anybody doesn't have BombBomb yet and you're about to sign up, do a little hard sell on them and tell them you're not going to sign up unless they include the template for you. They were kind of running a little promo, and they do it every now and then, but it's one of those, like, they want your business. It doesn't cost them much, but the template is rad. I don't know if anybody else has it, but they built it for me because it was part of some promo that probably doesn't really exist, but I love it. But it's got like my website embedded on the background. It's all, you know what I mean? Has anybody seen those or have one?
Yeah, I've got it. And I was going to say one of the things I've noticed this whole last 2 weeks, I blasted everybody out at the end of the year, the Happy New Year, this and that. They're actually going in, clicking on my home valuation, and they're coming into my other website, actually getting valuations requests out of that as well. So
because you have that as one of your buttons at the bottom, like click here for a
at the top.
Yeah, right on. Cool.
So yeah, and the thing is, even though I'm going to still leave the home bot going out as my main source of the home valuation, the fact that the link is there and they go in, and then I just still go in and let them know that that's an average, but that I wanted to reach out and give them a much more accurate value for their home. So it's a touch.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's good. And I will actually talk to Shane from BombBomb and see if we can get some sort of deal that if anyone signs up through the bombbomb.com/StreetText, that they'll get a free template with that. I'll make sure to actually go for that, press on for that. And for those of you that are aware, BombBomb's released a very light version. I think it's about $29 now on a monthly basis for the most basic element of BombBomb. So check into that as well. I know they're trying to stay relevant for anyone that's trying to compete with them. So cool, guys. I know we're coming up at the end of the hour here. I really appreciate everybody's feedback. If you could, I know you're already doing it with that cool group that you got, Stacy. Let's put together eventually a plan to make that into a teachable content, obviously with that teachable course, because then we could have that as an awesome opportunity for people to kind of replicate what you're doing. And then for you guys, Leon and Colin, feel free to, there it is. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Feel free to send us a couple examples, Colin. I want to see some of those videos where you're acting busy. I like to see that. That's cool. Both the embedded one and then kind of maybe some personal follow-ups to see what you're doing, so to get some examples, and you as well, Leon. And anything helps for people, because I know we got a couple guys on here that are just trying to figure it all out at the moment. Right, Thomas, Ashley, Alex? I'm going to call you guys out. Arthur?
It's all about systems.
It's all about
you got to have systems in place. If you don't have systems in place, you're just going to be running around like there's 8 of you not getting anything done.
With that said, don't just chase every shiny new button. The StreetText Insider Group is a good place to bounce things off people, because there's enough people running different things that whoever is using something has always been really open about chiming in about what they have. HomeBot has been so great because you're not going to find something that does that much stuff for under $1 a month. And if a lot of times what you'll find, you might already have a system you're not using, so don't rush out to buy something else, and you might already have something available that's going to do the same thing for you and get the same result.
Leon, you were good to chime into this one. Let's talk about this post real quick before we go. So this one's like, getting plenty of leads but can't get people to engage, or if they do, I'm not getting interested, or never mind, feeling overwhelmed, right? And then
I answered on that, I believe.
I know, I saw. That's what I'm going to use you here. Same. You know, Dean Rinker said, "Here's the secret. Are you ready? Pick up the phone and remember, SW, SW, SW. Some will, some won't. So what? Next prospect, right?" And the fourth SW, someone's waiting, right? Sarah goes, "How long have you been doing it, and how many leads do you have?" "Less than a week. I've got like 30, including address only." Sarah goes, "Yes, I'm sure you've heard this before, but Facebook leads are typically cold and 6 to 12 months out. That said, I've been a paying member since mid-November and just got my first 2 listing appointments last week and 1 listing signed. Just keep at it. It definitely feels overwhelming at first, but get your systems in place and you will absolutely see ROI," right? And that's the key there, right? And so I think that's what we're reinforcing over and over again. Personalize, personalize, personalize. Call in, you go, "Can I ask you how many leads you are right now?" Not address only, but probably 18, 20. So this is a good thread. This is why we stay in the insider group, right? And you gave some great feedback, Colin. You said, "Honestly, you're just getting started. I was totally there myself too, and know where your head is at right now. Don't feel alone. It's exciting at first to see them coming in, but then it can be frustrating. There will be some instant ones in there just by chance, but the math on social media leads is more like 1.5%. So it'll take more, but they cost less for each lead. Remember that percent is pretty consistent number game. So you're kind of going in there and kind of help setting some mental expectations there, right? And a lot of these leads you don't see come to fruition right away, but you're going to stay in front of them, and obviously they come to life. Do you recognize that, Colin? Is that what you're trying to kind of say there?
Yeah, and I just started doing this a couple days ago after our conversation that you and I had, because I just
lost you for a second. I think your audio went out for a second. Let's see. I don't know why we just lost you.
Sign language.
Interpretive dance. Yeah, that's a good way to get your message across. Yeah. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Yeah, I like that. That's the key though. I mean, I'll kind of read on here. Leon said, you said the money is the follow-up. Set some automation that helps you reduce your workload. Prioritize with the clients by following up with most active to least active, and you'll appreciate the time you free up and the opportunities that come from it. Watch a couple of old masterminds and implement some things from it. Everybody's been down this path, and once you get an effective system in place, it will get easier. So all this to say, what do we hear in the commonality there? Systems, process, systems. And if you need help, there's a ton of that already in the insider group, and it continues to happen through our StreetText Academy course. Masterminds, would maybe the one meeting alone that they should prioritize is the mastermind, right? There's more discussed around systems and processes here than any other meeting out there. And then we discuss everything that we put it back in the insider group. So that would be my big takeaway for everybody.
One of the things I also recommend is before y'all go commit to something long-term and have a setup fee and all these wonderful things, they're fast talking to you, bounce it to the group, because if it's something that good, a lot of times the, StreetText might be able to talk to them directly and get us a deal, like it's already happened on several other things. So waiting a couple extra days to let Marcus and Steven and Logan and them get a chance to go out and grab something might save us money long term. So just share it, ask the question, and see what we can do to save each other money.
Love it. Good idea. Cool, guys. You should be talking to. You got a coach. Reach out to him, and then put everything in that insider group. Like the more you can throw into that group, the more discussion we can get around it. The more comments, and we're going to just help each other out in this case. So put that in the group, and let's go for it. Let's go for the win. All right. I will talk to you guys soon. Austin, I have a meeting with you shortly. Give me about 5 minutes. Talk soon, guys.
See you, everybody.
Have a great day.